Discover the incredible journey of a black waitress who transformed her life in just 7 days. Jasmine rushed around the small kitchen of Mel's diner, her hands a blur as she flipped pancakes and poured coffee like a masterful conductor of a symphony, everything synchronized, everything working. Her eyes sparkled with enthusiasm as she interacted with the familiar faces that filled the booths. Miles of smiles greeted her from seniors, construction workers, and families alike, each spoonful of syrup accompanied by her signature warmth. Yet, beneath her cheerful facade lay a storm of worry. Rent was due, bills were piling up, and her dreams of a better life for her and her spirited daughter, Mia, seemed to drift further away each day. "Mommy, can I help you with the flowers for the fundraiser?" Mia's voice floated through the diner as she colored on bright scrap paper at their usual corner table. Jasmine's heart swelled every time she saw her daughter's bright spirit. Mia was the spark of light in Jasmine's sometimes dim world. Despite working herself to the bone, she found joy in the simplest moments, like those spent at the diner with Mia. "Of course, baby," she replied, ruffling Mia's hair, but deep down, Jasmine knew that her daughter deserved so much more than this life. And then came the news that shook Jasmine to her core. Her neighbors, the Johnsons, were facing eviction due to crippling medical bills. It was like a punch to her gut. The injustice burned within her. If it could happen to them, it could happen to anyone, even her. With determined fire igniting her heart, Jasmine envisioned a fundraising dinner right at Mel's diner, a chance to rally the community and bring hope where there seemed to be none. But as the idea bubbled inside her, Jasmine faced doubters, the murmur of skepticism swirling around her like storm clouds. "What can we really do?" some said, their voices dripping with caution. Would this simply unravel, just another empty promise in a world where caring often felt like a lost art? And yet, recalling her father's words about lifting up those in need, Jasmine wrestled with her doubts. She knew her community had strength, even if they needed a little nudge to reveal it. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As she began sharing her vision, Jasmine felt a shift. The diner burst with a renewed energy. Coworkers rallied, patrons bought extra meals, and Mia even started a hashtag that lit up social media, capturing their riveting preparations. It was as if a wave of love swept over Mel's diner, conjuring a vision of hope that up until now felt like a distant dream. But as the dinner drew closer, doubt pricked at her. Standing near the stage, Jasmine's heart raced. What idea? She faltered. What if their united spirit was just a fleeting moment? Her community hoped for something greater, and now, so did she. The stakes were rising, yet she couldn't back down. Jasmine stood firm, ready to step into the spotlight. Her future and her community's hung in the balance. Would she rise to the occasion, or would her dreams crumble before her very eyes? Jasmine felt the flutter of nerves in her stomach as she stood before the decorated stage. Streamers hung from the ceiling, and tables were adorned with fresh flowers Mia had lovingly arranged. The diner was alive, buzzing with excitement and anticipation. It felt like a true celebration, but in her heart, fear gripped her tightly. What if nobody showed up? What if the community didn't come through as she had believed they would? As the clock ticked closer to the start of the event, familiar faces filled the diner. Friends, neighbors, and even regular customers began to filter in, exchanging warm greetings and laughter. Each smile reminded Jasmine of their shared struggles and triumphs, weaving a tapestry of unity and strength. But in the back of her mind, the uncertainty lingered. What if the love they had for one another was not enough? Mia nudged Jasmine's arm, her eyes sparkling. "Mommy, look, everyone's coming." She pointed toward the door where more friends arrived, bringing food and drinks to share. The sight of a smiling Mrs. Thompson, famous for her pie, made Jasmine's heart swell. "Thank you for being here, Mrs. Thompson," Jasmine said, her voice barely a whisper. "You didn't have to bring anything." "Honey, I wouldn't miss this for the world," Mrs. Thompson replied, placing a warm hand on Jasmine's shoulder. We've got to support each other. With those words, Jasmine felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps this wouldn't be just another fleeting moment. She stole a glance around the room. The chatter and laughter filled the diner, a backdrop of solidarity. As she looked at Mia, pride washed over her. This was her daughter's childhood, the joyous chaos they built together in Mel's diner. As the dinner began, Jasmine took her place at the microphone. Her hands trembled slightly, but she felt the encouragement all around her. "Thank you all for being here tonight," she started, her voice steadying with each word. "We're coming together because of the Johnsons, but also for each other. Let us lift ourselves up, share our strengths, and show what this community can do." Cheers erupted, mixing with clinks of glasses. Jasmine felt her heart race. The crowd responded with enthusiasm, a vibrant force. In that moment, she realized she wasn't alone. This was their meeting of strength, a manifestation of love and hope. That as the evening unfolded, a raffle began. Local businesses chipped in with donations, dinner coupons, a free hair appointment, even baseball tickets. Jasmine felt empowered watching the crowd rally together. It wasn't perfect, but it was real, and it ignited a fire inside her. Then, an unexpected voice cut through the elation. It was Mr. Carter, the usually cynical old man from down the street. "You really think this will make a difference?" he bellowed, skepticism evident in his tone. Jasmine's heart sank at first, but then she remembered why she started this in the first place. She took a deep breath and faced him. "Mr. Carter, every penny counts. It's not just about money. It's about showing we care. And sometimes that's worth more than anything else." The diner fell quiet, and all eyes turned to Mr. Carter. He paused, processing her words. Eventually, a small grin broke across his weathered face. "Well said, girl. Let us see what happens." The night flowed on, filled with laughter and supportive conversations. But hidden beneath the surface, Jasmine's worries lingered. As the last raffle ticket was drawn and smiles filled the diner, she realized they were only just at the beginning. What would it take to truly uplift her neighborhood and herself? Suddenly, in the middle of the jubilation, a loud crash echoed from the kitchen. Jasmine's heart sank again. She rushed to the back, fear pooling in her gut. What happened? When she opened the door, her breath caught in her throat. A moment of truth was about to unfold in front of her. Jasmine stood frozen for a moment, her heart thudding loudly in her chest. The kitchen, usually buzzing with friendly chaos, was now a scene of disarray. A stack of dishes had toppled over, creating a mountain of shattered glass and dirty plates. Mia's giggles from the dining area faded into silence, replaced by a heavy tension that hung in the air. "Is everyone okay?" Jasmine called out, her voice wavering slightly. She stepped cautiously over the debris, afraid of what she might find. The sound of shattered glass echoed in her mind, a stark reminder that chaos could strike at any moment. From behind a counter, she spotted Ben, her loyal dishwasher, with a sheepish grin. "I was just trying to grab that last pie from the top shelf," he said, scratching the back of his neck. Didn't he realize the tower of plates would come crashing down? Jasmine let out a breath she didn't know she was holding. "You scared me." She turned to see if Mia had come looking for her. "Let us just get this cleaned up. We don't want to ruin this night." They worked quickly, pushing aside the broken shards and gathering the plates. Jasmine could feel the energy from the diner buzzing just beyond the kitchen door. The laughter and music reminded her of what they were trying to accomplish tonight. Together, they could overcome any obstacle, and this small setback wouldn't ruin that. "Jasmine." Mia's bright voice floated in, filled with concern. "Are you okay?" Jasmine knelt down, picking up a piece of glass. "I'm fine, sweetie, just a little mess here. Everything's okay." She offered a reassuring smile, grateful that her daughter cared so much. Mia peeked through the doorway. "Can I help?" "Oh, I appreciate that more than you know." Jasmine noticed the way Mia's little hands curled nervously at the brink of the kitchen. She didn't want her daughter to see any signs of defeat as they cleaned. Jasmine's thoughts drifted. It felt like life had always thrown messes her way, lost dreams, broken promises. But every scrape, every bruise, had brought her here to this moment, surrounded by love. With pride, she looked at Ben, who was tirelessly wiping the counters, and she felt a wave of gratitude. They had each other. Once the last shard was cleared, Jasmine stepped back, her heart swelling with determination. All right, time to get back out there and finish what we started. The three of them walked back into the dining room, and she took another look. The laughter was contagious, sparking a deeper flame in her. They were stronger together, no matter the obstacles that came their way. You all ready for dessert? She called out, her voice brightened by the renewed energy. Cheers erupted from the crowd, lifting her spirits. Just then, Mr. Carter raised his glass high, his earlier skepticism melting away. Here's to the spirit of community. May we stand together through thick and thin. The crowd echoed his sentiment, raising glasses and voices in unison. Jasmine felt that flame within her burst into a roar. She realized they were building something extraordinary, something that transcended individual goals. It was about connection, family, and unyielding support. But as the night progressed with stories and laughter shared, Jasmine couldn't shake the nagging thought that lingered at the back of her mind. What would she do if that flame flickered low again? Would she have the resolve to fan it back to life? And then, as if summoned by her uncertainty, a shadow loomed over the diner entrance. Dressed in a formal suit, a stranger stepped through the door, scanning the room. Jasmine's heart raced. Who was he, and what brought him here tonight? The celebration paused for a heartbeat, curiosity electrifying the air. What was he going to say? Jasmine felt the eyes of the crowd turn towards the stranger, a wave of uncertainty washing over her. The laughter faded into murmurs, replaced by the palpable tension in the air. Who was this man, and why did he look so out of place among the warmth and brightness of the diner? He stepped forward, his polished shoes echoing on the wooden floor, and Jasmine could see the glimmer of an emblem on his lapel. Good evening, everyone, he began, his voice smooth yet firm. I'm Jacob Reynolds. I'm here on behalf of the Downtown Council. A few patrons exchanged glances, eyebrows raised in a mix of surprise and interest. Jasmine's heart skipped a beat. She was familiar with the council. They had the power to change the future of her diner. But how? I've heard about the incredible work you all have been doing here, he continued, sweeping his gaze over the crowd. You've created something special, a gathering place for the community, and I believe it's deserving of recognition. Jasmine's breath caught in her throat. Could this be the breakthrough they needed? However, Jacob paused, and the room held its breath. Our city is also facing challenges. We have a proposal that could affect the future of small businesses like this one. His words hung in the air, heavy with anticipation. What kind of proposal? Someone in the audience called out, and the atmosphere shifted slightly. Curiosity piqued. Jacob raised his hand, signifying calm before continuing. We're working on a new development project plan for this area. There's potential promise for expansion, but it also comes with a risk. A number of our cherished establishments might be displaced. I want to hear from you, hear your stories, and understand what this place means to all of you. Jasmine felt her heart racing, the flames of hope battling against the shadows of doubt. Would their hard work and community spirit be enough to save what they had built? She looked around at her patrons, the faces filled with encouragement and strength, all gathered for something they loved so dearly. With a deep inhale, Jasmine stepped forward. Mr. Reynolds, she called, her voice steady despite her pulse quickening. This diner is more than just a business to us. It's a home, a gathering place for families, friends, and dreams. Displacement would tear apart the fabric of our community. A murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd, the echo of heartfelt sentiments reinforcing her resolve. We have built something beautiful here, something worth protecting. It's not just about profitability, it's about our lives. Jacob nodded slowly, seeming to appreciate her passionate plea. I understand, and it's my job to ensure that your voices are heard. I want to invite you all to a community forum. Let us discuss your concerns, and maybe together, we can find a way forward that includes everyone. The crowd cheered, a wave of relief sweeping through the room. Jasmine felt a rush of gratitude towards this stranger, whose timely arrival could be pivotal. As the cheers and applause erupted, Mia beamed brightly at her mother. You did it, Mom. They're listening. Jasmine smiled back, but a flicker of worry remained. What if the proposal didn't go their way? What if the community forum wasn't enough? In the midst of her thoughts, Jacob turned to Jasmine, his gaze searching. I'd like to meet with you personally. There's more we need to discuss. Her heart raced again, but this time it felt different. The possibility of change lingered on the horizon, promising hope, yet shrouded in uncertainty. Absolutely, Jasmine replied, her voice unwavering despite the storm of emotions inside her. As the crowd began to chatter excitedly, Jasmine couldn't shake the feeling that this was a turning point. But with every turn, there were unknowns waiting around the corner. What would this forum reveal? Would they be able to protect their beloved diner? The night was just beginning, and so was the journey ahead. Jasmine didn't wait long for Jacob to make the arrangements for their meeting. He stepped out of the diner, clipboard in hand, promising to return shortly. The atmosphere buzzed with a mix of excitement and trepidation. Patrons whispered hopeful thoughts while some cast wary glances towards the door, wondering how this pivotal moment might unfold. Mia, still fidgeting with joy, clutched her mother's hand. As minutes passed, Jasmine's heart thudded like a heavy drum in her chest. She kept glancing at the door, the hum of anticipation tightening her throat. The regular clatter of plates and cheerful voices faded into a dull background murmur, and all she could hear was the thumping rhythm of her own hope. Suddenly, the door swung open, and Jacob re-entered, this time with a handful of pamphlets and a determined look. He approached Jasmine, and the bustling chatter quieted again, as eyes turned back to their conversation. "Thank you for your patience," Jacob said, his tone more serious now, but still warm. "I'd like to set a date for the forum. But first, I need to understand the depth of the impact this diner has on the community. Your story would help me explain it to the council." Jasmine nodded, her thoughts racing. "What do you need to know?" "Well, we want to hear from the people who make this place special. It's not just about food and coffee, it's about connections. I'd like to collect personal stories, testimonials. The more real and heartfelt, the better." This felt like a chance. Jasmine's pulse quickened. "I could ask everyone to write something down, maybe share during the forum. We have musicians, teachers, local artists, all sorts of people who eat here every day." "Exactly. Their voices can help paint a picture for the town council," Jacob encouraged, his eyes flickering with enthusiasm. Jasmine felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. She wasn't only fighting for her diner. She was fighting for everyone who stepped through those doors. "I will do whatever it takes to make sure our stories are heard." Just as a wave of newfound determination washed over her, a voice piped up from the back of the diner. "Don't forget the open mic night." Murmurs spread, faces lighting up with anticipation. Jasmine remembered the event planned for Friday night, where regulars could share their talents. "That is perfect. We can collect stories, and I can invite each of you to come up and say a few words about what this diner means to you." The energy in the room swelled, excitement thrumming through the patrons as they envisioned the night. Jacob smiled at the commotion, a hint of admiration in his gaze. "That could be a powerful evening. I'll help promote it. The more people involved, the better chance we have." As the crowd erupted into animated chatter again, Jasmine felt a wave of relief. But alongside that relief, a shadow of anxiety lingered. Would it be enough? Would the council truly understand the importance of preserving their favorite gathering spot? Just then, Mia tugged at her sleeve, eyes bright. "Mom, do you think I could sing a song too?" The question made Jasmine's heart swell with pride. In that moment, she could see how the diner wasn't just a place to eat. It was where dreams took root. "Of course, sweetie. You sing your heart out." Jacob looked at them both, his smile infectious. "And I'll be there to support you," cheering from the front row. As evening settled, Jasmine felt the spark of hope flicker into a flame. There was so much at stake, and the upcoming forum felt like a chance to stand united. But deep down, she couldn't shake the lingering fear that not everyone would see their value. What if the stories were still ignored? What if their love for this place wasn't enough to sway the council? With these thoughts swirling, Jasmine knew one thing for certain. They had to make their voices heard. And soon, the stage would be set for the biggest night of their lives. Would they be ready to share their truths? And more importantly, would those truths change anything? Friday arrived faster than Jasmine could prepare herself for it. The diner buzzed with energy, a palpable excitement hanging in the air. Patrons arrived early, gathering at tables and eagerly chatting about the night ahead. It felt as though the whole community had come together, each person eager to share their stories as the sun began its slow descent, casting a warm golden light through the windows. Jasmine flitted between tables, helping where she could. She embraced each friendly face with a smile, but inside, her heart raced. What if their stories didn't resonate? What if they stumbled over their words in front of the crowd? Mia stood nervously at the edge of the stage, her little fingers curled tightly around the microphone. "Mom," she whispered, "what if I forget the lyrics?" Jasmine knelt beside her, brushing a loose curl behind Mia's ear. "You won't. Just think about how much everyone loves you. Sing with your heart, and you'll be incredible. I promise." The music began, a sweet melody that floated like a warm embrace through the diner. The first performer, Mr. Thompson, a retired schoolteacher, stepped up. He shared a story about how the diner served as the backdrop for countless memories, where he and his late wife celebrated every anniversary. As he spoke, a collective hush fell over the crowd. Every listener was drawn into his heartfelt words, the air thick with shared nostalgia. Jasmine felt a lump in her throat as she fought back tears. This was at the essence of what they were fighting for. A voice, an experience shared. She glanced at Jacob, who stood near the entrance, taking notes, his expression one of admiration. He seemed to know the importance of the moment. One by one, faces illuminated by the soft glow of the overhead lights, they stepped up to the mic. There was Mary, the local artist, who recounted how her creativity blossomed over coffee and conversations at the diner. Then came George, a musician who revealed how he found solace in this space, strumming his guitar in the corner booth whenever life felt too heavy. Jasmine's heart swelled with pride as stories unfolded, her spirit buoyed by the community's shared love for their diner. Each tale told became a thread weaving them all together. But as the night progressed, she felt an undercurrent of apprehension rise within her. Would the council see the same beauty in these stories? Would they understand the deep-rooted significance of this place? Finally, it was Mia's turn, her cheeks flushed with nerves and excitement. Jasmine squeezed her hand for reassurance. As Mia stepped onto the stage, her gaze fell on the familiar faces of friends and family cheering her on. It felt like home. Then, she began to sing. The sweet, unsteady notes carried through the diner, filling every corner with her innocent voice. Jasmine's chest tightened with emotion as she watched Mia find her rhythm, her little face lighting up with every word sung. The crowd joined in softly, their voices melding with Mia's, creating a warm harmony of support. This was community. This was love. After Mia finished, the applause rang through the diner. She beamed with joy, and Jasmine felt a surge of hope wash over her. Perhaps this night would be the turning point, the moment that ignited change. But as the last performer concluded their story, the air shifted. Jacob gathered the crowd's attention, glancing at Jasmine. "Thank you all for sharing. Now, I'd like to regroup after tonight to discuss the next steps with the council." A silence settled over the diner, a hush that spoke volumes. Jasmine's heart sank. The night was beautiful, but they were still facing the unknown. Would the council understand? As patrons began to disperse, the weight of anticipation settled in Jasmine's stomach. Would their voices carry beyond these walls? And what would happen when they faced the council together? Jasmine looked around, realization dawning. They had bared their hearts tonight. She felt a collective strength in their unity. But it wouldn't be enough unless they took that strength forward. Her heart raced as she pondered the next steps. Would sharing their stories bind them together even tighter in their quest to save the diner? She glanced at Jacob, then at Mia, and took a deep breath. The journey was only just beginning. The diner was still buzzing with energy, the echoes of shared laughter and heartfelt words hanging in the air like sweet perfume. Jasmine glanced around, her heart warmed by the faces filled with joy and camaraderie. But beneath the surface glimmer of hope, doubt loomed large in her mind. "Did you see Mia?" An enthusiastic voice broke through her thoughts. It was Mary, flushed with excitement. "She was amazing. I can't believe how sweet her voice is." The crowd loved her. Jasmine offered a smile, but inside, worry churned. "Yeah, she really shined, didn't she?" Mary caught the uncertainty in Jasmine's gaze. "What's wrong? You're worried about the council, aren't you?" Jasmine nodded slowly. "What if they don't see what we see? What if they don't understand how much this diner means to us?" Mary placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "We shared our stories. We spoke from the heart. That counts for something. People connect with passion and truth. You know this." Taking a deep breath, Jasmine looked out at the few lingering patrons' friends exchanging thoughts about the performances, reminiscing about fond memories. These were the moments that forged connections. But would it be enough? Jacob approached, a clipboard in one hand and a reassuring smile on his face. You should be proud of this, Jasmine. Everyone poured out their heart tonight. The council won't be able to ignore that. She appreciated his encouragement, knowing deep down he believed in their cause just as much as she did. And if they still choose to close the diner? Then we do what we have to do, Jacob replied firmly. We rally together. We keep fighting. We find other ways to make our voices louder. Jasmine felt the stirrings of hope rise within her again. Perhaps they could be the voice of their community if they worked together. As more patrons filed out of the diner, she imagined pathways stretching before her and next step, a plan forming. The idea of gathering more stories, inviting more voices into their fight, ignited a spark. This was beyond just saving the diner. It was about preservation, unity, and sharing their truth. Mia, Jasmine called, beckoning her daughter closer as she descended from the stage. How about we start a community storytelling project? Mia's eyes widened. You mean, like, everyone sharing their stories? Exactly. We can go to the park, or host it here. Invite everyone. Let them share what the diner means to them and why we need to keep it. Mia clapped her hands, her excitement infectious. Yes, I can sing again. And we can make it bigger, Mom. Absolutely. Let us show the council how special this place is. How special every one of you is, Jasmine said, her heart swelling with pride. They could channel the collective spirit into something beautiful. As the night wound down and chairs were stacked, Jasmine exchanged hopeful glances with Jacob. They were at the start of something major, a movement sparked by the hearts and minds of those who cared. But as she glanced toward the door, a sinking anxiety took hold. They had shared tonight, but would the council still remain indifferent? Just then, her phone buzzed in her pocket. Pulling it out, she saw a message from an unknown number. We need to talk. I know something about the council's decision. Meet me tomorrow at the diner. Jasmine's breath caught. Was this the hope they needed? Or had the danger finally surfaced in a way they never anticipated? Determined nerves coursed through her as she turned to Jacob and whispered, Tomorrow's meeting might be more important than we thought. With a pounding heart and a sense of urgency, she knew that the next chapter was about to unfold in ways they had never expected. The morning sun spilled golden light through the diner's windows, making the sticky tables gleam like newly polished treasures. Jasmine stood behind the counter, brewing coffee, her mind racing from the cryptic message she received the night before. The normal hum of morning activity felt different today. It thrummed with anticipation and dread. Mia helped set up the small stage they'd use for the storytelling project. Her infectious laughter filled the space, a contrast to Jasmine's simmering anxiety. Do you think we'll have a big turnout today? Mia asked, her innocent excitement wrapping around Jasmine's heart like a warm hug. I hope so, Jasmine answered, stirring the coffee and trying to ease the tightness in her chest. The more stories we hear, the stronger our community gets. It's not just about saving the diner. It's about sharing who we are. Jacob walked in, carrying a box of supplies. Hey, might want to bring out those extra chairs. I think people will want to sit and talk today, he said, catching her gaze. His tone held assurance, a silent promise that they were in this together. As they set up, the first patrons trickled in. Familiar faces, regulars who had built their lives around this place. The diner wasn't just a spot for breakfast. It was where memories were made, a refuge from the world outside. Jasmine watched as laughter and chatter filled the air again, each chuckle and clink of a spoon like a soothing balm to her worried soul. The clock ticked down toward noon. With each minute that passed, her heart raced. If the council knew about today, would they try to shut it down? Would anyone even come to share their stories? Then, just as Jasmine was about to lose her nerve, a small crowd had gathered. Friends and families began filling the seats, and soon the air buzzed with an energy she had missed. Mia jumped up on stage, her face lit up with excitement. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Today is about us, not just the diner, but each of our stories. The audience clapped, and Jasmine felt a wave of emotion wash over her. Here, in this little diner, people were coming together, ready to share their truths, their hopes. One by one, they took turns at the microphone. Stories flowed like syrup, sweet, sticky, heartfelt. A man spoke of how he met his wife in this very diner. Another shared how it had been his refuge during tough times. With every story told, Jasmine felt her worries melt away. This was what mattered. Suddenly, the door swung open, and Jasmine froze. A figure stepped inside, a tall man with clipped hair and an air of determination about him. It was Anthony, a member of the council. Jasmine's heart dropped. Had someone tipped him off about the gathering? He walked straight towards the stage, his expression unreadable. Silence fell over the room. Everyone turned to look. "Excuse me," he said, voice steady but loud enough to draw attention. "I need to talk." Mia stepped back, uncertainty creeping into her wide eyes. Jasmine seized the moment to speak, her voice more powerful than she thought she could muster. "This is not a good time, Anthony. We're sharing our stories today. This place matters to us more than you'll ever know." The air thickened with tension, and a collective breath was held. Jasmine felt the weight of every gaze on her, wondering how this confrontation would unfold. Anthony nodded slightly, a flicker of respect in his eyes, but there was still a storm brewing underneath. "What you're doing here is important," he said slowly. "But I have information that could change everything. May I join you?" The question hung in the air like a thick fog, caught between hope and fear. Everyone looked to Jasmine, searching for what to do next. The fate of the diner danced on a razor's edge, and this moment could tip it in either direction. Jasmine swallowed hard, heart pounding. Was this their chance, or were they stepping into a new kind of danger? "Please," she whispered, "just tell us what you know." As he stepped forward, the diner seemed to hold its breath. What would Anthony reveal, and would it change everything they had fought for? Anthony took a deep breath, glancing around the room at the expectant faces. There was a seriousness in his gaze that twisted the anticipation in the air. Jasmine held her breath. Each second felt like an eternity. Anthony had come here for a reason, and the tremor in his voice hinted it wasn't good or bad, just necessary. "I appreciate what you're doing, truly," he began, his eyes meeting hers with an intensity that made her stomach twist. "But you all need to know about the proposed changes that are being discussed by the council." The crowd shifted uncomfortably, murmurs breaking the silence like droplets in a still pond. Jasmine could feel her heart racing, panic rising. "What changes?" She pushed, her voice louder than she intended, cutting through the clouds of uncertainty hanging over them. "I'm sorry to be the one to tell you," Anthony continued, his tone softening. "There's a proposal on the table to demolish this diner for a new parking lot. It's strategic, and for some, it makes sense. But I don't think they see how much this place means to the community." Gasps of disbelief rippled through those gathered, faces paling, eyes wide. Jasmine felt the heat of anger flare inside her. It was more than just a diner. It was a sanctuary, a lifeline. With a quaking hand, she gestured for silence, her heart drumming wildly. Who would even propose something like that? She shot back, a tremor of betrayal tainting her words. "This diner is a staple. It's our home." Anthony let out a slow breath, nodding slowly. "Believe me, I didn't agree with it. And that's why I'm here. I've been trying to fight this, to show the council how much this diner means to everyone." But he hesitated, glancing at the crowd. "They don't see it. Not yet." Jasmine's head spun. Doubt began to creep in again. "Then what are we supposed to do? How do we fight back?" "I think," he said, voice steadier now, "it starts here with the stories you were sharing today. Your stories mean something, Jasmine. If you can show how this diner connects people, you might just have a chance." Jasmine looked around, her eyes meeting familiar faces, filled with hope and determination. Then she felt a light touch on her shoulder. It was Mia, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears, a mix of pride and fear. "We can do this, can't we?" she whispered, her voice strong and resolute. "Yeah," Jasmine said, an unexpected surge of power rushing through her. "We can." The diner erupted into a chorus of agreement, voices rising in resolve. "We'll share our stories. We'll make them listen." Someone shouted from the back, and applause broke out. Just like that, a new energy seeped into the room. Their words had the potential to become arrows aimed at the heart of the council. This wasn't just about a diner. This was about unity, identity, and everything they stood for. "Let us plan a town hall meeting," Jasmine proposed, feeling a spark ignite in her heart. "We need to gather everyone's story and present it to the council. Show them they can't just take away our home. Anthony's expression softened, and for the first time, he genuinely smiled. That's the spirit. But just as excitement began to engulf the room, the door burst open again, and a chill swept in as two more council members stepped inside, their faces set in grim determination. What is going on here? One of them demanded, eyes narrowing at the crowd. Jasmine's stomach dropped. Had someone tipped them off? The stakes had suddenly risen, and everything was on the line. Jasmine's heart was now racing in a different rhythm, one filled with adrenaline and urgency. They had everything to lose, but perhaps, just perhaps, they also had everything to gain. Was this moment the beginning of their fight, or had they just attracted the attention of their greatest adversaries? The diner's atmosphere crackled with energy as Jasmine faced the newly arrived council members. Here stood the passionate wall of determination she had hoped to build, now standing in front of an intimidating force. Every heart in the room seemed to beat as one, a synchronized soundtrack of courage. "Who asked you to come here?" Jasmine demanded, her voice rising above the murmur. Her pulse raced not just with fear, but with the fire of hope ignited by the people around her. She could feel their strength, and it coursed through her veins. The taller council member, a woman with steely resolve in her eyes, stepped forward. "We're here to see what all the commotion is about," she said. "Rumors of a grassroots movement. Perhaps something like this isn't what we expected." Jasmine swallowed hard. "We're not here for trouble. We love this diner. This isn't just a building. It's a home, a community." Her voice surged with passion, fueled by the stories whispered just moments ago, and she gestured over the crowd, overflowing with hopeful eyes that glowed with shared purpose. With her heart pounding, Jasmine faced her trembling audience. "Doesn't anyone want to share what this place means? This diner is where our happiness bubbles over every morning. Who here has a story?" Suddenly, Mr. Thompson, emboldened by Jasmine's words, stepped up to the microphone. "I met my wife here, over pancakes and coffee," he said, voice cracking slightly with emotion. "We raised our kids here, celebrated every big moment. You can't just take that away." Applause erupted, fueling the energy swelling in the diner. One by one, others joined in. A local artist followed, talking about how the diner inspired her daily sketches, while Mia chimed in with the innocence of youth, recounting how her mother worked tirelessly and how much she loved spending time there. The space buzzed with heart, and Jasmine felt the power swell. She turned back to the council members, their expressions wavering against the tide of heartfelt emotion. "You can't ignore this. You must see this connection. The impact of the diner isn't just financial, it's family. It's community. We will fight for it." The council members exchanged glances, mirroring the tension woven through the air. Jasmine could sense their resistance faltering, a crack in their facade. She pressed on. "We're not alone in this. We will gather more stories and present them. Who's with me?" The crowd erupted into cheers, uniting under one banner of hope and determination. The council members shifted uncomfortably, and the woman's voice broke through the chaos. "It's admirable, really. But do you think your stories alone will change the minds up top?" "Yes," someone shouted from the crowd. Jasmine's heart soared. "Every voice matters. Together, we can show them what's at stake." As fist pumps and nods filled the diner, Anthony stepped forward, standing beside Jasmine. "As someone on the inside, I can ensure that your stories reach the council. I'll advocate on behalf of this community. The more genuine your testimonies are, the harder it'll be to dismiss." The woman's expression softened as she studied them, weighing the impact of this moment. The energy shift was palpable. Perhaps they hadn't anticipated such unity, such fervor fighting for what mattered most. "Okay," she relented slowly, "I'll talk to my colleagues. We will consider a community forum to hear you. This was not what we expected." Cheers erupted once again, echoing the triumph of connection and the heart of every individual present. Hope ignited a fire in Jasmine's chest, illuminating the road that lay ahead. They were building something powerful, and with every story shared, they could topple walls of indifference. As the council members withdrew, Jasmine felt lighter, a weight lifting from her shoulders. They weren't just fighting for a diner. They were fighting for their homes, identities, and the treasured memories found within those walls. The path ahead remained uncertain, yet Jasmine felt the walls of anxiety begin to crumble. "We can do this," Jasmine exclaimed, looking at Mia, who wore an expression of pure joy. We will gather stories, we will stand together, and we will tell the world what this diner represents. The crowd erupted into applause, a testament to resilience and family. Against the landscape of challenges, they emerged victorious. With passion sparking the way, they could create a narrative of hope that would drown out any shadow of doubt. Mia tugged at her mother's sleeve, her eyes twinkling. Mom, let us do this right. Everyone should know. We'll show how much Mel's Diner matters. And together, they would champion the voices of their community, their spirit igniting the change they desperately yearned for. This was just the beginning, and armed with love, they would rise up, ready to transform everything. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. It truly makes a difference. Comment below your reactions and feelings about the ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait, not even one more second to share.